Good morning, wonderful people. How is everybody doing today? Man, it's been a long morning for me. I am stressed out. Everybody knows I'm going through some changes, trying to make my life better. So I want to have a heart to heart, something I should have done some time ago. I've been streaming for about 3 years now, fumbling and trying to find my way through it, doing the best I can. Sharing good times and a lot of love, a lot of compassion, a lot of empathy with you chatters, and you guys really helped me along. I try to build a safe community, someplace where I want to be because I'm here, and so that's what I've done. And you guys, every time I run into a problem or a mental breakdown or some type of situation, my health care, diabetes, when I had lithium toxicity in 23, December 23, and then just diabetes here a couple months ago where I was diagnosed. You guys have always picked me up and cheered me up. My family and my friends, the mods and the people coming through. Um, so I always want to say thank you, and really, really, with all my heart, I want to say I love you platonically. I don't want to give you a big old smooch on the cheek. Well, sometimes it would be all right, but I don't think it's appropriate, so we're not going to do it. But all in all, tell you I love you, tell you thank you. You saved my life. You saved me from despair. You saved me from myself, which is my biggest enemy sometimes. We do the big thing, the game night with family and friends. My brother-in-law gets online. He cheers me up. He helps me out, helps me through. He does that offline too. Kind of picks me up and helps me out. My sister really offline really helps me. She used to come in for Bachelor Cooking Sunday. She's working now, and she used to kind of come in and kind of help things along and hang out and cheer us on and that kind of thing, and help. She was always helpful with measurements or ideas. Why don't you try this or how about this? So my family's taken a part in this. I've talked to my parents. They support me with the direction I'm going. So I'm not alone there. I didn't feel. I felt like it was before. It was a bit of psychosis, a bit of delusion, and that's where I need to talk to you about. So I've made some changes in the names and stuff and everything else, and we'll get into that here in a moment. But basically, I've taken my anxiety medication, which makes me a little slow. I'm already a little slow, kind of hard to think. You see my reaction time playing video games and everything else. I'm usually lagging far behind and kind of getting killed off easily and everything else. It's the medication, the cognitive slowing I have from the lithium and the risperidone and my other medications. So it's very challenging, but I still come online because I love to do it. I love the community. I'm here for the community, and I'm trying to entertain you. The video gaming isn't that entertaining for some people, but I appreciate you and that kind of thing. So I've done that, and so I want to talk about the last 20 years of my life. I'm going to break it down into real short, kind of a snippet. You guys have heard me talk about it and all that kind of things, and you heard me talk about. I wrote a paper for my therapist, and I'm going to go see this Wednesday. I see my therapist every 2 weeks, and basically from there, I kind of broke down where I'm at with things. Well, it kind of goes back on the last 20 years, and one of those things with somebody being traumatized and all that kind of thing, and when they get you into therapy and all that kind of thing, you want to talk about it. You want to talk about the things that hurt you, the things that you've gone through, and everything else. So one of the big things that's happened to me is Alice Salim, my psychiatrist, 18 years ago, when I got out of OSU from being harassed, on the job harassed, cult like harassment, I'll get into in a minute, and well, a few minutes. And Alice Lean was my psychiatrist. Well, that guy was a very evil man. He ended up getting caught. He liked to hire women from Craigslist, get them naked, and paint on their bodies and film it and record it with video cameras. Well, he also injected heroin into them. Well, this one girl that was pregnant, he did that too. He gave her too much heroin and he killed her and her unborn baby. He did many other atrocities to the woman while she was dying. And I'm not going to get into that. If you want to look it up, Alice Salim, Salim, Allah, Ali, on the internet for Columbus, Ohio, psychiatrist murderer. It's even very traumatizing to talk about it. And so he was horrible. And people say, well, what's that got to do to you? Well, it shows a profile of his mentality. He took the same kind of danger, ill responsibility into his psychiatric care. And I was just one of his many patients over at Woodlands and here in Jackson, Ohio. And basically from there, he loaded me up on lithium and a bunch of lamotrigine and a whole bunch of other medications. And yeah, I was on so much lithium that it caused my thyroid to fail. Well, when my thyroid failed, my lithium levels and everything else was already toxic levels, or already high, maybe not exactly 100% on the edge of toxic, but it caused my thyroid to fail. So he gave me thyroid medication to help my thyroid, and it got it back into alignment. But I'm on all this stuff that really, and going through all this, I was still very traumatized from my on-the-job harassment that I went through, the cult-like harassment. And I acted out. I was going through psychosis, which means a break from reality, thinking things weren't, people were after me, stuff like that. It was very hard for me. I lashed out. It caused problems with my parents. I lost all my friends. And it caused me a lot of problems. This went on for 14 years. He was arrested and sentenced to prison in 2014, but my other doctors prescribed the same medication as what he did and kept me on the same regimen, and it kept me really, really messed up. I was really messed up. I had cognitive slowing, which is basically I couldn't think out problems. I couldn't take care of myself. My parents had to take care of me. I was really a basket case. I was really outside myself. And it was always asked the reason why couldn't he, do some of this on his own? It's just bipolar and stuff like that. Well, all this stuff caused a lot of those problems, and my bipolar was a lot worse. I'm bipolar 1, which means I've been hospitalized with psychosis, which means it was a lot worse than what people thought it was. So all this cumulative things together caused me a lot of problems, caused me problems with my parents, my siblings. I fought and argued with them. I fought and argued with my parents. Like I said, I couldn't take care of myself. I found that, basically the best way they found to deal with me sometimes was to isolate me. I was in this place and I was by myself, no outside contact. For years, they didn't want me to drive anywhere because I was so bad and I was so dangerous. I couldn't maneuver equipment. I was taking off any heavy equipment, and I couldn't function. And so it was really like a death sentence. I was there until I died. And it was really horrible. It was like imprisonment, being imprisoned in my mind, let alone all the psychosis, all the break reality, the delusions and everything else that was going through my mind. at the time, which caused me a lot of. I was sat there and I kind of stewed in my own harassment and what things people did to me. I went through everything in my past, and I was having flashbacks, and I just felt horrible about the mistakes I made, and just on and on and on. I was just in misery. In the meantime, I was still going to my therapist, and sometimes I was going once to twice a week, but they didn't treat me for anything. They just set me free on, you need to figure out coping skills. And so I really didn't get any clinical help from my therapist. It was a big waste of time and money. But everybody said I was so bad. I was so horribly, horribly bad, and I was getting worse, it seemed like, where I was. And people wanted me to go see a therapist. So I saw a therapist, and I've seen a therapist for 17 years. Now, different therapists and all like that, but I don't have the highest love except for, respect, I should say, for all my therapists, except for a couple of psychologists. With doctors, they really seem to push me forward and get me out of the some of the thinking that I was in, some of the trauma, and kind of get me to live in life again, just, being in this here and the now, in this reality, instead of living in the past and then having flashbacks and doing all that. So back in 22, I got my current psychiatrist, and he looked at all of my meds and looked how I was doing, read all the reports, and slowly over the next 4 years, they got me off so much lithium, and they got me down. And then my medical doctor, they'd switched things over from my medical doctor to give me my thyroid medication, prescribe it. And I told him, I said, they've got me off so much lithium. I said, this is what that doctor did. I said, I really don't need to be on thyroid. Can we please check? We can always put me back on it. Can we please check and see if I need it? And after I got off all that, I got off 40 or 50% of the amount of lithium I was on. And long and behold, my thyroid started working again. I started feeling a little bit better. I still have psychosis and some delusions and stuff like that. And basically from there, this is a real big heart to heart. This is a real heart to heart, guys. This is me being brutally honest with you. This hurts me to tell you these things, and it's an extremely embarrassing moment. And this is not why I took the anxiety medication. That's for what I'm dealing with in the here and the now. So, so slowly they started taking me off these other escoplam and limitrogen and levothyroxine, which is my thyroid medicine, and they took me off a couple other ones. I don't remember the names of them. And slowly I started, it's taking time and stuff like that. And I've started to come to my senses. So if you would have been a part of this show 3 years ago when I started, you would have seen the very, very traumatic kind of outward, kind of wild, kind of why I don't have any followers show that I used to put on back on the Xbox and all that kind of stuff. And once I moved to Jackson here, things seemed like they were a little bit better. I was away from all the stress at the farm and everything else, and I started calming down a little bit, and I've started doing a little bit better. So that slowly progressed into that, where I've always said, if you guys are here, some of you have been here this long, the start of my new life. So I have started a new life, and it's getting more and more complicated with my medical situation, my diabetes, and my COPD, and now next week is my therapist session, a big important session, and then the week after that I have my heart stuff. So I'm gonna see how bad my heart's clogged up. I'm gonna go through a test and it's going to be radioactive. They're going to inject it to me. I'm going to do some exercises, walking or whatever they got me doing, and they're going to test my heart and see how thin my arteries are and see how clogged up they are. So that's going to be the week after next, the 27th. And then we got next week. So that's a big stress. You know, I got to go through that. I got to deal with that. I got to deal with the outcome of that. Am I going to need, some type of something put in my heart, open up my veins, a catheter or whatever they call it, and basically, not a catheter. Basically, they're going to open up the arteries in my heart. They could have that happen. So it's very scary. It's very, what is next kind of thing. And that's what I've done is what is next. So with that, let me talk about what put me in the hospital. Weibo Energy Systems, I worked for them in Dayton, Ohio. And for about 8 months. 6 months. I worked for them about 6 to 7 months. Or a year. I worked for them a year, almost a year. So it was a little bit longer than that. And there's a rooftop units on one of my job sites that was under control of something else. There was brand new rooftop units that Weibo put in an elementary school that caught fire, a couple of them. Corporate Columbus said take the units out and put different units in. Well, it was a configuration why I figured much later after that of the ductwork and everything else they had put in there, and the balancer narrowing down the ductwork on all the VAV boxes, variable air volume boxes. And so they put a press board, not a ductwork. They put a press board in there. They didn't want it blown apart because it was not what was supposed to be used. And it turned back around from there. And so the balancer cranked down the unit. I think the airflow across the heat exchanger wasn't high enough, and it caught things on fire, is what I think happened. Well, they thought the customer knew something was going on because they had to call the fire department out there and put out the rooftop units. Well, they thought I was telling the customer stuff, so they kept me in the dark and didn't tell me anything about anything. Then they started getting mad because the job took too long because their sales guy told them, we will fix everything. And every time I got situated, there was something that needed fixed. We started the job late. By the time I got there and was hired in to do it with a hiring bonus, a nice fat hiring bonus, $5,000. It was a right off the rip hiring bonus. And basically, they were supposed to be getting out of there. And so I was into it. I was there with the kids were there, in school, the whole spiel. And I was going through fixing stuff and doing what I had to do, writing software and figuring out stuff that was going on and figuring out what was promised to the customer and what the customer expected. Well, they try to take me out of there and put me on other job sites. And I took care of other job sites, but that one was a pretty big one and needed my full attention. The customer was already mad, and it was being taken out on me. And so they put me on a couple other ones. Put me on Wright Pat Air Force Base. That one ended up, something happened. The VAV boxes, I think somebody misloaded them on there, misloaded the data, and it caused all the VAV boxes to crash and need to be replaced. And the guy was already mad because of what was going on at the elementary school. And so turned back around from there. He was mad at me. It was my fault. So he brought somebody else in there out of Michigan to program that and take care of that. And kind of let me get back in there afterwards and do a few things. So my reputation was hammered. And I was finding things, they were wiring stuff up with train controls when it should have been Johnson controls. And I figured out all that. I figured out other problems. I pointed them out to them, and they didn't want to hear it. So by this time, my nerves were out of control. I was going hypermanic because all the stress and everything else, and trying to get things situated. And they were pulling me everywhere, trying to get me to do stuff. And I was going hypermanic, so I was really unprofessional. I'm just looking for a place to call home, and just saying stupid stuff. I said I'm trying to really work hard to be here, and really nervous and really kind of twitchy. Everybody's seen those employees that on the verge of getting fired and they kind of spaz out. Well, to add to it, what they ended up doing was they followed me. Either the GPS on my phone or GPS on my service truck, and anywhere I went, they would have somebody going to that store. Let's say I went into GameStop on my way home because it was on my way home, and basically from there, talk to everybody. They'd start rumors. And then, I had my neighbor, she needed parts for her. I said, well, go over here and get some parts. And they told her a whole bunch of rumors and a whole bunch of stuff. They were listening to my phone calls. They were talking behind my back. They were just causing all kinds of problems. Then they were taking notes or remembered. And as I talked to other employees, they'd have the employees repeat back the things that I had said to them. They'd gotten in my email because I had a company laptop. I got onto the email. They were all in my email. They were all in my phone. I had a BlackBerry at the time. That was the big cool thing. There's a BlackBerry. Apple was just coming out, and they really, really put the crunch on me. So by the time they got to the point where a guy said, I'm done with that job, and I knew it was coming, they said, well, we're restructuring the company. We no longer need you. Well, they didn't need a Johnson Controls guy anymore. It was a train shop. So I had a job offer for Columbus Train for corporate with a whole bunch of friends where I thought were friends, work with me. And I went over there and I started, and I was real amped up. I was hypermanic. I was really, really shaking in my boots. I was scared to death every time my name came up, something from Weibel. And it was terrifying. I was terrified to the very core. They were sabotaging me and really getting to me. And that's when the real harassment started. I thought Weibel was bad. But they started telling me stuff from custom air conditioner. I worked back there when I started my career, which is another train shop. They had people call me, tell me a whole bunch of stuff, and tell me, ask me about stuff that other people said, and just cruelty. Then all the employees at the train office did what I said, repeated the things I said. They got in my email to my laptop, and they repeated the things each other said and what other people from Weibel said. So it was just all those kind of things. And they were watching where I was going still, watching where I was at. They were trying to get me to move out of Dayton. You got to move out of Dayton right now. Trying to manipulate me and move into Columbus. And it was just a fiasco. And by then I was fully manic. By the end of it, my brain was buzzing. I was connecting all kinds of parts and pieces. I was good at solving problems, and that's where I made my money. But all of a sudden, all the points and everything else are all ringing together, and I lost it. I went manic. I quit my job, which is what they wanted. They wanted me to quit. And I didn't want to give up on that. I wanted to see it through. And which is foolish, which is a delusional point of view to begin with, psychosis. And basically from there, what ended up happening was I went down. I wanted to take a break, trying to reset, figure out what I was going to do. I was totally manic outside myself, so I went down to the farm to help my parents out, just to help them. We'll tinker around the farm, get a few things done, away from the city, and see if I could reset my brain and calm the hell down. And I couldn't. I'd sit on the couch for 2 hours. Then that's all I'd sleep, and I'd wake up and just screaming and total, just like somebody was torturing me, and my brain was torturing me. Is because what Weibel and Train had done to me during all that time. So it just, my whole career was wrecked. I realized that all the sacrifices, everything just collided on top of me. My brain's sitting there buzzing everything out. And eventually, my youngest brother, he has his master's in nursing now, talked to my mom, said, "Hey, what's going on with Eldon?" Mom was frantic. She loved me. She worried about me. Didn't know what was going on with me. And she'd had medical training, like we talked about on Mother's Day, and she knew that I was in very bad shape. And my youngest brother says, "Well, I'll call someplace in Woodlands and see if we can get him in there. We can talk to somebody, see if we can get it sorted out." So my brother helped me with that. So my parents took me there because I couldn't drive myself. I couldn't function, and I told them the story of the movie with Tom Cruise, Wall Street, on how they harass him and chase him down, try to give him a hard time and everything else. And she's like, "You got to go to the big house." She's like, totally. He's totally delusional and psychosis, and he's totally manic. And and they brought my parents back in. I said, "Yes, you can talk to my parents." So I love my parents. The parents know all this. And turned back around from there. They said, "We've made arrangements. You can either go to OSU voluntarily, or we can have you committed." Well, there was no choice there. So OSU was a good hospital, and my parents took the hour and a half drive to go up there and put me in there, and I was manic and I was outside myself, and I was really sick. I was really sick, and basically from there, when they closed the doors and locked them behind me, my mom sat down on the bench and just started wailing, just crying. She said she'd stay there if they'd let her, but dad says you got to go home. So you got to take care of yourself. And mom was really upset. Dad was concerned too, not to say dad was cold-hearted or anything. Dad just realized the situation and what needed to be done. And he had to take care of his wife, my mother, which I love dad and mom, and I talked to them here recently and they understand. So there's no hard feelings or anything else with it. They're behind me 100%. I ain't gonna get a bunch of help from them because they've been through hell, and I'm not asking them to put their name or their word up on the piece of paper stating anything or proving anything or anything else. So, but all those things, and there's so much. I went through a year of harassment every single day, 8-hour shifts, nonstop, over and over again. Just I was on pins and needles, and they pushed me over the edge. They pushed me way over the edge. So that was Columbus Train, or Corporate Train, is in the Train Air Conditioning Company. So it was pretty bad. So, and I still have nightmares about that. I have nightmares about all the problems and everything else, and I calls when I was over medicated. I was psychosis real bad. I was delusional, and all the nightmares and everything else. My mind dreamt up, and the monsters that were after me, and everything else during that time too really haunt me. And I still wake up and nightmare, and that's why I only get 2 or 4 hours of sleep at night, because I suffer from all this. So it is very hard. People can be very cruel. especially if they see you're a threat, or they see you as a, we're in the middle of the financial crisis. Everybody was losing their jobs, people getting laid off, businesses were going out of business, and everybody was scared for their own ass. So let's go sacrifice Eldon to the corporate god. So because it's one less person that has to get a salary, one more job opening for the rest of us. I don't know all the reasoning. They did some horrible, horrible, horrible things to me, just horrible, and I still suffer with that every day. So I can go, 3 months. I live in a low stress. I don't have any social friends or everything else because, like I said, I lost them all because I was psychotic, and so none of them wanted to be around. I burned them out, burned that kind of thing, and my parents are 20 years into it, and they're tired. My sister, I want to protect her and all that kind of stuff, so I'm kind of on my own. So I got you guys, and I'm afraid of burning you guys out and wearing you out and that kind of thing, and that kind of thing. And I appreciate all of you. So it's very hard. So I can go 3 months, without having any real big symptoms or anything else. I just have my normal. I can't sleep, racing thoughts sometimes, a little bit of delusional psychosis. Somebody a nightmare. I wake up and think they're still, out to get me and harass me and do that kind of stuff, and I can't shake it off, and it just stays with me. And so then I think, I start dealing with other people, and I'm very cautious and trusting. I'm thinking, what are the harassing thing they're gonna say? They when they repeat things, kind of like Wyborn Train did. Are they harassing me, or what's the intent here? So, I'll go through that. Right now, I'm trying to get things cleaned up, trying to put some things behind me and move forward with a new phase of my life with new responsibilities and everything else. So it's got a lot of stress on me and everything else. When I get a lot of stress on me, I sleep even worse than when I did. All my disability problems come to the surface, and a little bit of psychosis, a little delusional, stress, a little hypermanic. Everything starts getting to me, and I start winding up. So I got to take my meds and talk to my doctors and wind down every day and try to calm down. Like this conversation unto itself has got me so wound up. I'm sure my face is red. I feel my heartbeat screaming in my chest. My adrenaline's pumping. Because none of I see, the other problem was I don't just picture, or I don't just say words or write them down. I picture them. So when I think of this harassment and everything else, I'm seeing these people harassing me. I'm seeing what they've did to me. I'm seeing in my mind what happened. So it is very hard. It is very hard. So guys, welcome to the world of Eldon. And I did change the name of, well, all my socials. This is my social support group. You guys are a social support group. And I'm learning these coping skills. There's not very many of us. I'm learning to talk about things, to get desensitized by some of my problems. One of my, a couple of my therapists said get desensitized, get situated, get used to it, and as it becomes more familiar, it'll be easier to talk about, easier to deal with some of those things, which is true in some ways, but some things are still just as hard, if not harder, than what the days they happened. So this is a good thing, and it's a creative release for me. I get to be creative. I get to kind of share my feelings and thoughts with everybody and that kind of thing. And it's really I've grown a lot from it. I can do a lot of good things. We don't have, because because I'm mentally ill, because I'm bipolar. I had GAD, general anxiety disorder, and I have PTSD. I don't have that many followers. I can't keep them. I start talking, some of this stuff that I'm talking about now, or something that's upsetting me, or something like that, and it scares a lot of people off. They don't want associated with it. They just want a good laugh and everything else. That's why I call this my mental support group. You guys are mental health support. Our job has always been to educate, to inform, to get rid of the stigma. The mental health is what I'm trying to do. I feel like I got to fight. I'm fighting for something good. We also do charity. We try to do a few things for charity. Usually I end up putting money with it, but we've had some really great people, some bunch of people from Australia, for St. Jude. We had some anonymous people for the Bungee Foundation donate money. So they come in, they stay for a minute, and they see we're suffering, and they do the right thing. They try to help out a little bit with the support on the charities, and I thank you. I thank you. And they move on. So we've had people from all types of people come in here. Everybody's welcome. Trying to make it a home. No harassment, no abuse, no none of that. Because I suffered that so venomously. And try to ease people's pain and suffering. We listen to stories. We try to help. So we try to do our thing. So it is what it is. So that's my story. So I'm going to take a break for a minute, reset things, get a drink of water. And that needed to be said. This will be posted for 7 days. I'll download the file for reference in the future. I got my therapist coming through. I got my psychiatrist come through. I got my wellness coach comes through and checks out videos and stuff. And turn back around from there. We got other people in the future going to be coming and checking out things. So I don't know who all those people will entail, but there will be other people checking on things. So I have to explain what I'm doing, which has already been known here on the channel, but it wasn't known in this depth of this is why I am the way that I am. This is my trauma. This is my pain. I'm wearing it on my sleeve now. So for those that are out there, you are not alone. I have suffered with this for 20 years. Nonstop, my brain attacking me, nightmares, lack of sleep, just, lack of friends because I chased them all off, and really stuff like that. So I'm here to make new friends, put my best foot forward. But a lot of the times, my distrust in some people and stuff like that really caused me more pain than people realize, because I was harassed and everything else. So enough about all that. We're going to put that aside. We're going to make some lunch. And that's all this is, guys. I'm just making a nice lunch. I'm sharing my endeavors with you with some cameras and that kind of thing. So we're just making a nice little lunch, nice little brunch, and trying to have a good time. So kind of forget the worries for a minute. They are abundant, and they are clamored all on me, and try to enjoy each other's company. So guys, like I said, I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be back in a few minutes. So I'll be back. All right, get freshened up a little bit, kind of reset the brain. I'm glad I took my medicine this morning. I am very happy. So here we are. The sound works, so we're good to go on that. So what are we doing today, brain? What is for lunch? What is going on? We have avocado tacos today. These fresh tasting tacos are great for a light meal. Ingredients: one medium onion, cut into strips, 2 large green peppers, red peppers, and a yellow pepper. We don't have a 4th pepper. We'll have to live with that. Cut into thin strips, cup fresh cilantro. I found that putting it in a glass of water, some of the edges will die off a little bit and that kind of thing, but all of it, majority of all of it survives. So that's very good. So 1 cup of fresh cilantro, finely chopped, 1 ripe avocado. Get the big avocado. Peeled and seeded, cut into 12-inch strips, 1.5 fresh tomato salsa. See ingredients below. 12 10-inch flour tortillas. We got the oven on to warm them up. We're going to put them in some aluminum foil and put them in there and heat them up a little bit here in a bit. 1 cup of tomatoes. Dice 1/3 a cup of onions. Diced 1/2 clove of garlic. We got, where's the garlic at? Where's the garlic? Oh no, I've lost the garlic. Oh hail, sir. What in the world is going on? Oh, there it is, right in front of me. Garlic. Cilantro, 1/3 of a cup. Jalapeno peppers, chopped 1 tablespoon. The jalapeno poppers, and if I feel like it, we're going to make some jalapeno poppers. Here's some jalapenos pickled, and some lime juice from Italy. Direction: mix together all salsa ingredients and refrigerate in advance. We're going to do that now. Coat skillet with vegetable sprays. Lightly saute onions and green and red peppers. Warm tortillas in oven and fill with peppers, onions, avocados, and salsa. Fold tortillas and serve. Topped with cilantro. So we're going to move this over here. I don't want to put it on the stove. It'll start drying out. So what do we want here? My hands are shaking, I'm sorry. Fresh tomato salsa ingredients, 1 cup of tomatoes. So we got to get that 1 cup of tomatoes. So that should be that. We're going to put it in here. I'm going to put this over here. I'm so nervous I can't peel the top of it off. Whoa. All right. Whopping chopping up these tomatoes. Let's say we got our cup. You got tomato juice everywhere. Everywhere, I say. That's 1/3 cup of onions. I usually taste a part of an onion. See what I'm dealing with. That's a good onion. Now, it says 1/3 of a clove. We need some music. I need some music. We're going to mince it. On another note, I've been keeping an eye on little Miss Rosemary's house while she's in Tennessee. Everything's been safe. Some people don't watch it as well as I do. I've been up all hours of the night. So she's supposed to be back today. So I'm waiting for a pound on the door any moment. Been raining a little bit this morning here in Jackson, Ohio. Nice calming. And the windows are open early. Of course, I've been up early. Waste not, want not. All right. Says what else does it say here? 2 teaspoons of minced. Unleash this. That's a mess. Okay. The jalapenos. We're going to have to clean up one hell of a mess later. We're making jalapeno poppers later. We're going to do it with some peppers in it. Or some seeds. I want a little spice today. Some lime juice. I have to clean up my mess over here. Get the tree out of here. It's sweating and doing its thing. All right. Keep leaning right on that connection. Put this behind here. All right. Lime juice. Pinch. It doesn't say how much lime juice. I'd say that's enough. I like Cuban a lot. In a meld. All right. Mix that up. With the big ass tomatoes. So stick this in the fridge. Move over butter. All right. Now the fun part. That's a better one to test. Don't forget struggle meals. Push down on the center. You're going to make sure you hit the trash can or they go everywhere like I did last time. Very good. A little bit more cilantro. All those made it in. That's a good thing. Cumin. Put it back up here. This is where I was going to get some yesterday. Get some more of this. I have some other stuff I could use. That's almost empty. That's almost empty. I need to get some. All right. So more cilantro. It says 1 cup. I'm going to sharpen my knives again. That stuff is strong. All right. Get this heated up. Is that a big enough bowl for all that? It should be. All right. What are we doing? A little bit of onion. What do you think? Olive oil or vegetable oil? It needs a little something else, I can tell. We're going to put a little olive oil on that to be healthy. Go with the theme for the day. Oh, you can't see that. Let those soften up, get cooked up a little bit. Sorry about my nose. It is going haywire. The cilantro. I'm allergic to cilantro. Oh no. I like cleaning. I like things to be clean. It's the OCD part of my brain. Putting things away makes me feel better, makes me feel secure. Everything's organized. I like my nightmares. You know the two things that saved my life over the last 20 years after telling my horrific story, my story of my heart, is my parents. They saved my life. I don't know how many times. Gave me a place to live, food to eat when I was incapable of doing it myself. And then my sister, when she gave me Duke, the little Dotson. When I was here by myself with my mind wrapped upon itself tighter than a drum, that little dog broke through everything, licked me on the face, cuddled with me, was on top of me, went on walks with me, snuggled with me when I went to bed. That dog saved my life. I can't tell you how much. So I'm very grateful. So be grateful for the things. My belly's shrinking. I'm down to 252, with my sweatpants on. No socks, no shoes. 252 from 277. That's 25 pounds. It goes down a little bit each week. A little bit each week. I haven't been eating as much as what I told my parents last night. I said, my dad's like, "What's your glucose at?" I was like, "Oh, it's been 130 this month, around there." I said, "Here lately, it's been less than 100." I said, "Because I haven't had an appetite, haven't eaten that much." He said, "Well, that's good. That's good." Parents worried about me. Don't melt those. Those are my favorite. Supposed to be 87 today here in the hot city of Jackson. It'll be steamy. It'll be exciting. The yard's mowed. The outside's cleaned up. Mr. Jade and Mrs. Ivy are out on the porch soaking up the rays, living the big life. I got some Kool-Aid lemonade in the fridge, which isn't too bad. It's a lot cheaper than some of that stuff. It's not too bad. I put a half a cup of sugar in 2 quarts. That doesn't seem like it gets my glucose up that bad, my blood sugar up that bad. Just a half a cup, a little less than half a cup of sugar. I put a little bit more than 2 quarts in it too of water than my Kool-Aid packet. I gotta have flavor. Drinking water for like the last forever. It's enough to drive a poor man insane. All right. Those are nice and soft, be good. I like soft veggies in my stuff. I didn't like the instructions on today's recipe. They were pretty rough. So sorry about that. That's that government website. I don't know. I think that was the CDC. Did some work for them when I was getting harassed and everything else. I went ahead and broke a rule. I got requested by the CDC to work through another contractor to take care of a new rooftop unit they were putting on. Do a little graphic work on their web server. On their web server. It was an NAE, Johnson Controls. My specialty. Alright, this is where I think this is supposed to go. 1 cup of it. One messy. That's a lot of cilantro. Is that camera getting steamed up? It is hot. Hot food. Put it on the stove. Keep it semi-warm. Clean off the stove. Look at the mess going on there. I'm going to peel the avocado and mix it all together. Mix it all up. We're going to do some avocado poppers. I always talk about them. Hold on, I'll be back. What a mess. Don't mind my pan. This was a nice new pan that 3 months ago, and so I started baking a bunch of chicken and fish and all kinds of stuff, and then it got funky. So we need this. Gotta get all of them. All right. So we need a spoon. You get the cream cheese out. And a knife. So it's dull my knife, but it's all right. That's what I got today. The heart-wrenching story I just told, I can dull a knife. And just go with the day. Just popping off the top of the stem. I'll put the recipe in. I got it somewhere. I gotta look it up. I'll put it in Discord sometime later on the day or tomorrow, depending on how I feel. Because by the time the show's over and situated, I get some food in some kibbles in my belly, as I tell Duke, my kibbles in my belly. It'll be time to take another pill. And chilling out after that. Realize what I just did. Work up the courage to watch the video. I gotta watch the video. Back to desensitizing. Listen to my own self tell a story. It's alright, guys. I'll be alright. Already relived the story a million times, say 1,000, but that's not enough. Relived the story a million times in my head over the last 20 years. Never gonna want to get them seeds out of there. I didn't get the cream cheese out. Because it's gonna go in there and replace. It needs replace some original. I didn't get the diet stuff. So I can only have a few of these at a time. And the Ninja Air Crisper fryer thing. Don't cut the finger off. That should be all we need the knife. A lot of handling the jalapenos. That one's all mucked up. We'll eat it. Spicy. These are a lot spicier than what they were before. That was spicy. I washed my hands this time. Maybe I shouldn't have ate that jalapeno, sir. Because it was hot. Hot. Spicy. Spicy, baby. Very spicy. Thought I dunked it in the goop. My hands are still shaking. Pretty nerve-wracking. I was already on edge. Part of my life. I dunked it in the juice. I can only smell jalapenos. I wonder why. You thought this was painstaking. Wait till we got to put the cream cheese in the... Ooh, could get in my eye. I hate messy trash cans. It's got goop in the bottom of that that'll soak it up. So it won't go through the trash bag and end up in the bottom of my trash can. All right. We need more equipment. What a mess over here. And the mess is just starting. This is just the start of the mess. Gotta get the eggs out yet. All right, I'm going to take my medicine for my nose early. I'm going to blow my nose, so I'm going to turn off the camera so I don't hear this loud honk. Sound like a goose getting killed. I'll be back. You might hear it. I don't know. Hopefully you don't hear it. All right. All right, I'm back. Check my hearing. See if I can hear myself. Remember back in the day, guys? Testing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. For those that were around back in the Xbox days, always had to check the mic. Sometimes it would start up without working. I've been through a lot the last 3 years. Now we'll mash this in there. When we pick them up and dip them in egg, then we dip them in breadcrumbs. How long has the salsa been in the fridge? Get these big ones, see if... Don't run out of cream cheese. All right. So that's part one of the pain in the ass. And I am burning up. We're not going to put those in the oven. Z, how did you poison yourself, Z? I've had better days, Z, but now that you're here, it's a little bit better. How did you poison yourself? Lactose intolerant, that's pretty serious stuff. I was like that for a little bit. I think it was my medicine. It was causing a little bit of my stomach. Oops. Are you better now? I'm hoping you're better. I need the bowls. Well, that's how I do things too. I learn as I go. Sometimes there isn't somebody there to ask questions to. How's this going to work for me? What's going on with this? Sometimes you just got to be careful and just do your best. It sounded like you did your best. I drink a lot of milk here personally. The protein, it's a carb. I think it's a carb. Well, my body treats it that way. And I don't get a whole lot of carbs, so my brain needs it to think. So I drink a lot of milk. It's not the best on my diabetes. But that's what I have for breakfast. I have a big old glass of milk. That's okay. I had the hardest time learning how to cook, but I was good at following directions. So once I found directions to give me the clue on how to cook, I ended up doing much better with directions. Just, knowing it out of the blue air, watching somebody else do it, I had a hell of a hard time. Hell of a hard time. I have to have instructions. Or I'm just like you, I'll burn the milk in the Campbell soup. I'm just like you. So don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. As long as you tried, you tried. You're welcome. I'll be your Grandpa Z. I am 50. You feel better now? That's good. That's always good. Feeling better is feeling better. Get some relief. That cilantro is freaking everywhere. I gotta change this water out. I cooked some avocado avocado tacos, and those that are in the fridge right now. I got to cut up the avocado as soon as we get done with the jalapeno poppers. And that's what I'm doing now is jalapeno poppers. This is how you make them up according to the air fryer instructions. That stuff is everywhere. Instructions for Ninja. I got a recipe, always a recipe. And you never had a real, oh, you got to go get one. These are on sale, the large. You got to get the large. They're about $2.50 here in Ohio. And I got these on sale. They're very perfectly ripe. They're perfect for $1.50 a piece. And they are a superfood. For my diabetes, the doctor says those things are awesome for my blood sugar and everything else. Give me all the vitamins I need, and not all of them that I need, but give me a bunch of vitamins and give me a bunch of energy. So you got to check them out at the grocery store. You got to check them out, sir. Got to check them out. Avocado, big old one, on sale for $1.50. Very good, nice and well done. Why does that always happen to me? I'm going to have such a big mess to clean up around here. I'll be busy the rest of the day. And Grandpa wanted to take a nap. Well, at least chill on the couch. I don't take naps. I chill. Watch Twitch and chill. Watch all the streamers, all my peeps. They disown me if they knew me, but they're all my peeps. Now what I did was I took some saran wrap and put it in here so the jalapeno poppers wouldn't touch. The stove's cooled down now, so I ain't gotta worry about melting the plastic all over. So you gotta be careful. I got Italian breadcrumbs instead of the Progresso, which are the best in my opinion, or the Planko. Planko would be good. Kroger, I got some of these last time I was at the store because I wanted some jalapeno poppers. I pour a bit of them in here. Make sure that lid's on good. They'll get all funky. It doesn't take long for them to get funky anyway, so you might as well use as much as you can. Eggs. That's what my brain wants. I get Eggland's Best. They're the bestest eggs. They last longer. That's why I get them. My parents says, "What do you mean? The eggs last forever?" And I keep mine in the refrigerator. as you can tell. Try to not get egg all over the wires. It'd be a good move for the day. All right. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Z, did you get laid off, brother? Vegetables are expensive and being laid off. Well, I'm sorry for you. I'll say a prayer. I'll say a prayer for you, man. I wish you the best on that. It's hard being laid off. It's like losing a family member, getting laid off. I know you and Lance work together, so I'm sorry to hear that. Ah, okay. Well, I wish you the best, brother. I really do. I feel you. I hate it when I went through those things. It was the most treacherous thing in my life. Why the eggs is white? I like white eggs. That's what I've always used in everything all the time from way back in the day. Back in the day when chickens were first introduced to mankind, and I got to break the eggs up. We're going to take the jalapenos with cream cheese. We're going to smash down the cream cheese. We're going to dip it in egg with one hand, and the other hand we're going to put it in the crumbles, the bread crumbles, bread crumbs. It's been a long day. And put it in the pan. And then we're going to freeze it. It's got to freeze for like a day. And then you can air fry it. So there you go. Yeah, high protein, good protein source, but it makes the breadcrumbs stick to the to the jalapeno poppers and cream cheese. So when you dip it in the eggs and then get the mess and you dunk it into the breadcrumbs, they stick together. And when you put it in the air fryer after you freeze it, they stick together pretty good and it tastes good. It tastes good. So that's the other thing. So here we go. One hand dirty, one hand clean. I will screw that up here in the future. One hand dirty, one hand clean. Just making rows. The cream cheese is melted a lot more sitting here doing all this other stuff. My fingers are growing like Frankenstein, like Count Dracula. All right, now clean my fingers off. This is very good, Z. Very, very good, my friend. Everybody's going to try a jalapeno popper in their life. Hot fried right out of the air fryer. Ooh, tasty. And if you can't get them homemade, you can go down to the bowling alley. Another place, a cheap place like that make fried foods. Make fried foods and see if they make jalapeno poppers and have some of their jalapeno poppers at the bowling alley or whatever you got going on down where you're at. Someplace that makes fried foods. Little Dynamite. Someplace to make it. The cream cheese fell out of that one. Sorry. I got no free hands. They were going to call it there. I have made a mess. And that's why I use some type of sheet pan. Do that so they don't stick together, stick to the plastic. And you plop them in the freezer, and then you're stuck with a mess. This is chicken water now. We got to get rid of it. Chicken dishcloths and all right. Now we're going to clean up our mess. All right. Oops. All right, that was the jalapeno poppers and a mess. My fingers are still all clogged up with the gunk, the bread and the breadcrumbs and the eggs and the jalapeno juices and everything else. But we got her done. It'll be good, tasty, nice, enjoyable things later on in the future. Little prep work. You see why I didn't have that done beforehand, because it takes so long to take care of it. All right. Anybody get hungry yet? I am a bit hungry. I got my appetite now. So I'm so happy. So happy. That cilantro sticks to everything. Ah, by Jiminy Golly. Put these over here. All right. My jalapeno or my avocado knife, I usually just place it there, spin it around. Not perfect. A little brown there, that's not usually good, means it's old. But we're bachelors around here and we can handle it. Alright, let's see if I can peel this off the top of here. Not the best here. Alright. Get all the parts of it off. It did not come apart. If it was cold out of the fridge, it would have done better. It sat there a couple hours. More messes. Funk. Paul Missy, hello, how are you today? Hello. Hope you're well. Hope this Sunday finds you well. Life's treating you well. All the wells that could be welled. What a mess. So avocado tacos, you can find it in Discord, my Discord, under food. I did put a little surprise in there for when we did rotisserie chicken, guys. We did rotisserie. Anybody remember when we did the rotisserie chicken? I was so excited the mechanics of it worked. It is a thick. I'll be munching on this tomorrow. It'll be good. A little bit of salt. I feel like a little bit of salt. I gotta get some more Himalaya salt. Avocado tacos. I understand that. I've had some real hard ones here lately myself, and I got some meetings to go to. It's just tearing me up inside. So you got my full feeling, my full feeling. I understand. Yeah, avocado tacos in Discord. Let me put the Discord link in there under food. I should be able to do it. In there that's an invite to my Discord. And in there under food in the tree, you'll find the tree. General discussion is when we all yap and talk about all kinds of stuff. But food's where we put the recipes, all kinds of videos, all kinds of good stuff in the food. And that recipe for avocado tacos is in that in that tree, in that file. Get some water. But before, we'll make it a quick prayer, guys. We don't want to burn the ears of the sinners. We always say a little prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for this food, a place to live, and a car to travel around in, food to eat. Did I say food? And friends, and good health. I wish everybody good health. Amen. Amen. A little prayer. Always do a little prayer on Sunday. Try this out. It is a mess already. The soft taco could be warm. I could have warmed it up. Would have been better. And it emptied out. I'll finish off this half. It is tasting pretty good. The cilantro is overpowering through the whole dish. We knew that. It's not bad. The red peppers are the peppers are pretty prominent. Tomatoes, good. Could it be more avocado? I don't taste that avocado that well. Maybe I got only a little bit in that slice. But it was good. Yes, exactly. It is a mess. Well, guys, for those joining in late, thank you for joining everybody as usual for sharing a meal together. And I'm cooking what I would cook for myself, something a little bit nicer, but something I eat, well, I'm going to eat over the next couple days. So it's bachelor cooking. It's just me, a bachelor, a little bit of meal prep, that kind of thing, making things happen. As for the beginning, I bared my soul, and it was very difficult for me. I hope you understand. I shouldn't have to say this for those that have been here for years and all that kind of stuff. They know I'm a good guy. I'm a good, kind-hearted soul. I've been trampled on by life and that kind of thing. I've had a hard life. I mean to mention once that I haven't smiled very much in my life because I've had such a hard life. But you guys make me smile, make my days go by brighter, and make life a little easier for me. I love streaming. I love hanging out with you. You guys are my social connection to the world. Kind of therapy. Well, you are therapy for me to get used to being around people and talking to people and the dynamics of conversations and all that kind of stuff that over the last 20 years I have failed to have because my health, my mental health has not allowed me to participate in such things and live a normal life. So this is my a way of being safe and yet still being social, still gaming with peeps. I love to game with everybody and hanging out. So I want to thank you for putting up with me. Sometimes I get on tangents and stuff like that. Don't make any sense, and I apologize. But guys, you make it better. So I want to say thank you. And pardon me, as usual, for those new people here, I love you. I really do. Platonically, you guys make my life better. You make me better. You make me smile. You're great therapy. You really help me out a lot, help me grow, and be a good human being. And Trey, maybe one day I'll get back to where I was before all the trauma and everything else happened to me. But odds are I'm going to be in a new place, a new person. So thank you for coming on this journey with me to becoming that new person, a better person. I love you. Have a beautiful day. I hope your day goes wonderful. I hope you try the food. It is really good food today. It's in Discord. I've given you the Discord. And I'll be off Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Recoup. I gotta make phone calls, um, some really hard phone calls, and try to make my life better. Take care of things that's grown into a problem over the last 20 years, and still keep everything together, uh, which is hard. So then I get therapy on Wednesday. So I'll unleash the torrents upon that gentleman. I'm glad he's able to have broad shoulders and take care of it. And I'll be back Thursday morning. Far as I know, first thing or early Thursday morning. And then a game night with family and friends at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with my co host, my brother in law, who really carries the show. He's the personality. He's got a shining personality. Him and his family, my sister, and they are amazing people. And we all get to share time together. So, guys, I'm rambling. I love you. Thank you. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will see you again soon. See ya.